My name is Victoria Ekanoye. I'm an actress, singer, and mother to a three-nager. I'm a breast cancer survivor. I was diagnosed at the end of 2021 when my son was 9 months old, I think. And I'm a woman on a mission.
You are a woman on a mission. I love it. How did your diagnosis change your life? I mean, first and foremost, an actress on television, making movies, doing all the incredible stuff that you're doing, but also as a mum to a 9-month-old child.
I'll be honest, I was really angry more than anything at the beginning because it just felt really unfair. And I think everybody probably feels some way like that. Just for context, I'm now the 10th person in my family to have developed some form of cancer and the 5th to have developed breast cancer. Excuse me. And I think in the moment where I was breastfeeding my son when I found the lump, so I think in that moment when you're nurturing life in your child, to even contemplate death was so jarring. It was, I almost had to kind of come out of it to deal with it, you know. And I think as well, someone mentioned before about carrying the weight of the emotions of your family members, your friends. It was a lot. And I had to make a decision really early on, or at least I felt that, what my treatment was going to be, because I knew with Theo, my son, how much it would impact our lives as a family. But also I almost felt not an obligation, but a responsibility to be really open about my circumstance. Because I think I've seen it a lot where people will go through what they go through, and then eventually they build up the courage to speak about it and to advocate. And I think that was always at the back of my mind, because I kind of had this thing that, you know, it's in my family a lot, and we don't have the BRCA gene in the family. And I think it was always in my mind that if this came my way, I would do what I could then to turn it into a positive some way. My mum and I are patrons of Prevent Breast Cancer, and so I do a lot of speeches and conferences and things like that. And I learnt a lot along the way. And I think... I mean, even to this day, I feel it was the right decision. Some may think it was ludicrous, but I decided to go public with my diagnosis before I'd even had my surgery. Yeah. So that whoever was interested in being a part of the journey and learning from it could be there from the beginning, before I went in for the surgery, not knowing whether I was going to make it out alive, because I also have sickle cell.
Yes, you do.
And I cannot tell you, just sitting in the hospital bed once I came out, the weight that was lifted with all of these messages flooding in, not just with the encouragement, but the fact that they then, it spurred them on to go and get themselves checked. Yeah. And even at that point, before I'd even started treatment, and I just had surgery, even at that point, it felt like this isn't as bad as it was yesterday. Yeah. And I think it's putting... regaining some of the control, which you lose when you are diagnosed with cancer. Your world is turned upside down. It's like a pebble dropped in the middle of your idyllic family setting. Even if there's loads of other things going on, we manage those. Yeah. We get through it. We carry the weight. But cancer is an unknown, and you're putting your life into other people's hands, and those other people may be medical professionals, but as we all know, not all medical professionals get it right. I had to push for a third opinion before I got my diagnosis. I went for a private ultrasound. They said I was fine. I went for a second because I'm stubborn. And they said I was fine, and to continue breastfeeding Theo until he was 1. Gosh. So that would have been another 6 months. Then wait until the milk had dried up, and then go back for a mammogram just to be sure. I just booked a job, Death in Paradise. So I'd gone out to Guadeloupe with Theo and my mum. And whilst I was adjusting my mic, I found a second lump in the same breast. Lord. And I just had to take myself off set for a minute and just have a little chat to myself. But, you know, you've got a job to do. Your son is here, your mum is here. Just get it done, then get home and get it sorted. And I think the heaviest part of it was that my partner's mum had just been diagnosed with ovarian cancer. So I didn't want to burden him with the worry just in case it wasn't cancer, so I didn't tell him. So I was doing this and going to these appointments and just carrying it all on my own in the hope that there was never going to be anything to tell. But I remember, it sounds very dramatic, and I know I'm an actress, but I'm just being genuine. I remember literally tears were streaming down my face as I was having the mammogram, because I just knew. I know my body. Yeah. I've had to know my body because of sickle cell. You have to be aware. And I remember standing there as my breast is being compressed, and I'm feeling those 2 points where it was painful, because not all breast cancer symptoms are painless. And I decided in that moment that if they found anything, no matter how small, I was going to have a double mastectomy as hopefully a curative but also preventative form of treatment, because I could not live with the thought of it coming back. And I know that that's either A, difficult for people to even contemplate, because it's a big part of us. And it was at one point, giving life to my son. But it just felt like the exact right thing to do. I knew in that moment. And so when they told me, I really pushed to get that, because they were going to do a lumpectomy.
Yeah, they do. That's what they offer all the time. Yeah.
And advocating for yourself is the hardest thing in the world, when all you want to do is curl up in a ball and just go and be on your own somewhere and process. Yeah. But it's what keeps us alive.
I mean, I can't even imagine what you were going through, particularly because you also had to carry out that job as well, and you weren't anywhere near home when you found that second lump. And I guess one of the things that I've known of you as well, because I remember when the news broke that you were, and I was like, wow, such a brave thing to do before you've even started treatment, is how you have just always wanted to help people. And I've seen some of the incredible things you've done, singing on stage at the Future Dreams party. It was where Boy George sang, and you held that. Was it like what was they doing? It was like the Future Dreams.
Oh gosh, Neon it was called.
It was Neon, yeah.
It was Mel C, Boy George.
Yeah, Mel C, Boy George, and you, and headlining that. And I've seen the things that you've done, and never wanting anything in return, and you're now embarking on this incredible journey with this amazing project that you have done, traveling, around the world. Can you tell us about it?
Yes, gladly. So I'm currently filming a global breast cancer documentary called Shades of Survival. We are traveling as many countries as budget will allow, because it's hard to get the money in. We've been to Nigeria, we've been to South Africa, we've been to parts of the States, which we're going back to, obviously the UK, and we are speaking to medical professionals, but also patients or even families of patients who haven't won their battle, and trying to. It's not just about education. I say it's a documentary, but it's more like a film, because we're also portraying the beauty of the countries that we're going to, the culture, the music, the food, the energy, the love, the life. And it's, I guess, trying to show them that the communities out there that they're not aware of. Yeah. It's all over the world. And as I said to you yesterday, we're all in our little pockets of the world, beating a rhythm to a drum, trying to help, trying to make a difference. But if we come together and beat that drum at the same time, the message is emanated across the entire globe, and it makes a difference. And the work that we're doing, I have to say, I mean, it's very humbling, because you see these people who have so much less than we do. And any problem that I've had within my journey that has been external, so obviously it affects your family life, your relationship, your sex life, your relationship with yourself when you look in the mirror, your relationship with your child. It affects a lot of things. But any problem that I've had externally, I almost feel that I'm privileged that it's like first world problems, which sounds...
I keep saying that.
Right?
First world problems,
And it doesn't, everything is reflective, so it's not,
Oh,
it
yeah,
doesn't
of
take away
course.
from the fact
Yeah, it
that
doesn't take
we
away.
are struggling
Yeah.
with this, and we do struggle with this, and everybody's stories today, my heart is full hearing that there's space, that you are holding this space for everybody. But for instance, there was this incredible woman who, she was diagnosed in lockdown, and it would have taken her 8 hours by bus to get to the nearest hospital, and she was incredibly weighed down by, I say the burden, but I think it's just the necessity of being a black woman in a family, of looking after everybody, taking on everything. And so she didn't go to the hospital, but also there was the fear of are they going to shut things down again? Because it was that back and forth that we had for a while. It was like, oh, everything's open. Oh, no, not anymore. But we'll still have our parties. Don't put that on the podcast. Pull that back. But yeah, she was really struggling with what to do, and she didn't end up going, which was quite sad, because then from the way that they did the testing and everything, she progressed a couple of stages by the time. Now she's still with us.
Okay.
But it just, the grueling treatment that we know can come with that, it took her out. And her house was put together with pieces of corrugated iron. You know, it was the shanty town in Cape Town. And it just was very humbling, and it just put things into perspective for me. And I think, as we were talking about yesterday, you would never ask for this. You would never, ever ask for a cancer diagnosis. But if you come out the other end and you can really push through with your mental health, you can be better for it, physically as well. Yeah. Because you think about what you're putting in your body, on your body, the toxins that you expose yourself to on a daily basis. They can be people too.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
But yeah, I'm really grateful. This film has been a labour of love. But
it's a labour of love. But I think, even being on set with you guys yesterday for this interview that, I'm so honoured to ask to have done. But it's like, actually, there's so much love and care. The director, just is doing it just because he wants to champion black women's health.
Exactly.
Because he's been directly affected by it, by people in his life. And like, no one's being paid. People are in debt.
Oh yeah,
because
it's
of
all
this.
Self-funded.
All self-funded to do this, to raise awareness. And we were talking yesterday about sometimes there can be this like hero complex when it comes to advocacy work.
Yeah.
And, removing that allows you to connect and allows you to collaborate because you just want to help.
Yeah.
Because you went through something and either you've come out the other end, and sometimes maybe not even come out the other end. Sometimes you can be still going through it, but you just want to help. So my question here is, how can we support the film? Because I've seen snippets of this beautiful film. There's so much energy, hours gone into it. But I think the thing that really has pulled me in the most is how beautifully you've shot the countries that you've gone in, because usually there's been a lot of actually topic about this, hasn't there, about, when they're doing appeal videos and then they make, particularly where we come from in Africa and stuff look bad, but actually you've gone in and shot the most beautiful parts and been so sensitive to the cultures and the people, and it's such a beautiful film. We were just talking outside there, innit, maybe trying to put some sort of preview together for people to come along and see it, because it is stunning. How can we help?
There are several ways. I think the first is just to kind of, as much as we possibly can, to talk about it with anyone within our circle. Because the more we talk, the longer we live, across the board with everything. We're constantly handing down amazing recipes to our children, our grandchildren. This is the recipe of life, looking after ourselves, advocating for ourselves, thinking that this is the only body we've got. We can't order another one next day delivery. We have to make sure that we treat it as though it belongs to somebody we love. And I think we forget that a lot.
We do.
And I put that into the documentary, and I think sharing this as much as possible. We have trailers, we have a website, which is shadesofsurvival.life. We have an Instagram page. You can see snippets of the film on there. It will be essentially a resource centre. There'll be a community there for people to come in, regardless of what stage you're at with your journey. A partner, a mother, a daughter, a son, the patient themselves. We're bringing in as many people as we can, as we say. Collaborating is, I feel for this has been our greatest achievement, and probably, I mean, for you for sure. I mean, Black Women Rising is a big place in my heart. It's just what you do is incredible, and I think, I mean, there are so many ways in which we can help each other, but coming together and sharing those little things that you may not know that could save your life, you know. We are fundraising alongside of it. People, I think, assume that you have to give big amounts when you're fundraising.
It's the small
but
help.
But even £5 from everybody in a room of 100 is a huge amount, and it funds a shoot. It funds the travel expenses, for instance, of whether it's a film festival that then makes it become a global piece that everybody can see.
Absolutely.
People don't realise that small donations can help, so there's that side of it too. Within the movie, which I'm really, really proud of, we have a full breast examination, so every single part of the examination is there on full. Now, you don't see the lady's face, but she's lying there, and somebody does the full examination on her. You see every part of it. Some women don't know how to examine themselves.
They don't.
Men too. And I think just talking about it, you know, word of mouth gets so far for so many things. If we go to a great restaurant, go to the great play or whatever. But this is our lives, and it affects so much. So I think just sharing as much as we can do.
Absolutely.
That's the best way to help.
Well, we all want to get behind you with the film. I know, like, just being there with you guys yesterday and stuff has, like, really inspired us to, like, share with our community and stuff like that. And we'll share the link with everybody when we do the post-podcast notes so everyone can get behind and support. But thank you for all the work that you do. And just thank you for always using your huge platform that you're doing the most incredible things, but just always advocating for us as well, because it's so important. And I've often said sometimes with Black Women Rising, there are a lot of high-profile women of colour who have had a cancer diagnosis, and it's okay for people to not use their platform to advocate. We know that.
Not everybody can.
Not everybody can, and they can't do it. But sometimes for me, I think I've got frustrated going, actually, it's so important because your voice could do so much, and you do that, and do that so selflessly. And even you being here, and you know, she lives in France, you know, and you've come over and you've done stuff for us, and we're just so grateful to you. So thank you for all you do, Victoria. Honestly, massive round of applause. Thank you. Thank you.